Hi guys, and welcome back to Helltaker, the Second Circle. Now, don't get too excited now. Unfortunately, the third dates are not here yet. The reason I am back here is because I've only noticed that I've missed a second date. You can probably figure out who it is. So, I decided to come back here and get her second date done before it haunts me until the third dates come. So, I'm back here at the start of the second dates. I am awakened from my slumber by an incessant scratching at the door. Grabbing some clothes from the nearby chair, I head towards the door. And then it just leaves off right here. Now, I've researched, and to unlock you-know-who's second date, I have to click on my wardrobe right here. Or, alternatively, you could put on some clean clothes and make a dashing impression on whomever is opening the door. Maybe it'll be an opportunity to dazzle Lucifer with that brand new leather Hawaiian polo shirt you bought last week. Hawaii? Yeah, you guys see how this is spelled, right? It's not just me. You open your wardrobe and freeze in place. Where earlier that day had hung your carefully varnished polo shirt, now floats a spinning purple portal. Oh, alright, here we go. The second date I've missed. Your prized sock collection, also purple portal. All of your wardrobe, in fact, was spinning purple portal. This is not how you pictured this morning going. A skeletal hand extrudes from the portal and accompanied a familiar, polite voice. Ah, look, it's Walter, okay. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience, sir, but my Lady of Red requests your immediate presence. With a surprising strength that belies its ragged appearance, the hand clamps down upon your wrist. Before you can so much as voice your protest, you're pulled bodily into the wardrobe. Just so you know, it's not Narnia that's happening right now, everyone, okay? You brace yourself for the inevitable wave of nausea as your body spins through dimensions. And here we are again. As the world begins to consolidate around you, you notice a figure standing directly in front of you. Looming over you, face shrouded in shadow, is Beelzebub. Yes, it took me a few months after finishing the other girl's second dates to realize that I didn't do Beelzebub's second date. Do you have any idea? Also, I'm loving the new appearance. How long it's been since you last visited me? I know, and I'm sorry. As much as I appreciate the attention, you can't go around abducting people whenever you feel lonely. You are wrong on two accounts, I'm afraid. Firstly, it was technically Walter who did the abducting. Secondly, I didn't have you delivered to me out of loneliness. I require your counsel on a rather personal matter. And what might that be, my lady? Construction. Construction? Come again? Seeing as construction is the only worthwhile activity to pursue in this bloody place, I've spent the past several hundred years building myself the castle within which you stand. Were you a great builder back in hell? Ah, wow, this animation. No, but I decided it couldn't possibly be that hard if they let common folk do it. Well, that certainly explains why the layout of the castle could graciously be described as a spaghetti nightmare. However, I've run into a singularly irksome problem. After millennia of solitude, even my prodigious reserves of artistic expression have begun to run dangerously low. I could swear my aesthetic designs are becoming almost pedestrian in nature. Perish the thought, but I don't see what that has to do with... And so I, genius that I am, have decided to source my inspiration from elsewhere. Tell me, Taker, what do you know about architecture? Nowhere near enough to call myself anything but a hobbyist. And what I do know drifted out of fashion 6 to 7 centuries ago. So, we're talking like, industrial age? How much do you know about castles and fortifications then? Only enough to name and describe key features and aesthetics. Beelzebub rubs her chin thoughtfully. I suppose that ought to suffice. I'm not concerned with structural integrity as is. Follow me, if you would. Your path this time takes you upward. Uncountable spiraling staircases, impossibly sloped hallways, and the occasional convenient ladder become achingly familiar sights as you travel upwards for what seems like an eternity. Eventually, the two of you emerge into open, for want of a better word, air. To your right, the endless expanse of Beelzebub's fortress stretches ever upwards, disappearing out of sight in the uniform blackness that dominates the environment. Stretched out before you is an expanse of the same smooth-formed obsidian that makes up everything else in the castle. Here is our canvas, and I suppose we'll be needing some paints as well. Stand behind me, please. Beelzebub frowns in concentration, extending a clawed hand into empty space. Threads of darkness spun from the very fabric of the void begin to coalesce in front of her. Beelzebub clenches her fist and the threads become a stream, then a river, then a deluge. The inky darkness thunders down upon the ramparts, freely flowing off the bare edge of the platform and into the discerning chasm below. Eventually, the stream dissipates, leaving behind a small mountain of rubble. Beelzebub flicks her wrist and an enormous shard of rock levitates towards the two of you. The boulder, 6 or 7 meters in diameter, halts before you and floats gently in midair. This rock is a consolidated matter distilled from the void itself. It responds favorably to mental suggestion and has proven to be a more than adequate, yet disappointingly monochromatic, building material for my castle. So tell me, what shall we build with it? Well, we appear to be on a rampart. Why do we make a crenellated wall? Crenellated walls add a certain panache to any fortress. Besides, that bare edge is rather disconcerting. Trust me, you do not want to fall into the primordial abyss, unless an eternity of falling in pitch darkness sounds fun to you. Does that really sound fun to any being? Only slightly less than my average everyday responsibilities. Oof, you're telling me. Beelzebub chuckles. Stepping behind you, she drapes her arms over your shoulders, leaning into you as she instructs you in the ways of magic. Oh, guess I'm learning demon magic, somehow. Focus. Picture in your mind what form you wish the rock to take. Let it flow into place along its brethren. Remember, Your only purpose is to guide the stone. I'm the one doing the heavy lifting here. You focus on the floating boulder, trying to imagine it moving to your left, towards the edge of the rampart. With an almighty rushing swoosh, the obsidian boulder violently hurtles off the rampart and is swallowed up by the cloying darkness surrounding the castle. Though you listen for a moment, no sound of the rock impacting ground reaches your ears. You turn back to Beelzebub, who passes her handkerchief across a slightly sweaty brow. Why don't you try that again? A little gentler this time. So you're saying it's my fault? I thought you're the one who said that you're doing the heavy work. I'm far too old to be flinging rocks around like that willy-nilly. Sorry, I'll try again. Okay, round 2. I just noticed the rock has some kind of a face right here. This time around, you're a bit more careful with your mind's eye. Rather than giving the rock directional commands, you imagine it moving to places in space. With a little practice, you realize you can also influence the shape of the rock, sanding down rough edges and dividing the boulder into more manageable pieces. Carefully, you place the first bit of stonework onto the edge of the rampart. Well done! I have a couple of critiques about your technique, but that was very good for a second attempt. With Beelzebub giving advice, you are eventually able to refine your technique, telekinetically shaping slabs of rock before placing them into the checkered wall of the parapet. Hey, at least I can say that I'm getting better training than Ray ever did. The work, though entirely mental, is more strenuous than you would have thought, and soon enough, you find yourself wishing for a respite. Hi, Walter. As if sensing your desires, Walter emerges from the darkness, bearing a flawless china teapot and matching cups upon a glossy black platter. Tea for Sir and Milady. Ah, perfect timing as always, I see. Oh ho ho! You flatter me, Milady. Want to inquire as to how the renovations are proceeding? Splendidly. Taker has proved surprisingly knowledgeable with regards to castle architecture. I keep telling you, it's really just a hobby. This parapet might not even be stable. I'd advise against... Poppycock! I'm sure you're doing an excellent job. Besides, this castle is held together by my force of will, and I hardly think that's going anywhere after all these years. Whatever you say. Sitting down on the freshly crenellated wall, the two of you take tea. Waiting to remove the dishes when you are done, Walter occupies himself in examining the fresh stonework with a small brass magnifying glass. Two of you drink your tea, glad of a reprieve from your labor. Presently, a question springs to your mind. Ask about how Walter got the tea, or ask about why Beelzebub is building the castle. I'm not gonna ask about how Walter got the tea. It's demon magic. What else is there? Now, I'll ask, why the hell are you building a castle in this empty space? The void isn't exactly crowded. Why go to all the trouble of building a fortress? Tell me, Taker, who am I? Beelzebub. And? Archfiend of lies? And? You struggle to remember the many titles Beelzebub seemed to adore anointing herself with. The Queen Crimson? The Scarlet Sovereign? The Rose Regent? You're just making them up now. I'm pretty sure the Queen Crimson is one of your titles. Do go on, though. I haven't had someone sing my virtues in ages. Ahahaha. That's it. I'm out of titles. Illuminate me. Beelzebub takes a lengthy draught of her tea before responding. During my time in hell, I was amongst the mightiest demons, embodying one of the worst sins of mankind. I was known as Beelzebub the Envious. Do you know the difference between envy and greed, mortal? One wants money, the other status? Close, but not exactly correct. Greed is an all-consuming hunger for the treasures of the world. It rarely, if ever, cares about what it has acquired in its relentless, short-sighted quest for more. Envy is far more discerning in its pursuit and acquisition. Envy cannot exist without a partner to play against. And once upon a time, I played against the 4 greatest demons in hell. That was a long time ago, of course, but I still remember the Grand Cathedral of Hell, opulent and imperial. Truly a symbol of one's ingenuity and power, there was nothing more I coveted in all of hell than to sit upon one of the ebony thrones as Regent of the Damned. Beelzebub stares into the distance, swirling the remaining tea around in her cup. This was back when Lucy and I were still on speaking terms, before that damnable high prosecutor threw me in here. But back to the topic at hand. Having no partner to strive against in here, I've taken it upon myself to construct a castle far exceeding my own memory of the Cathedral of Hell. If I've nothing but eternity to spend here, then I shall spend it building a monument to my greatness to dwarf anything Lucy's subjects could build for her. I see. I'm honored that you trust me enough to help with building it. Reinvigorated by tea and conversation, the two of you make record time arranging the rest of the rock, and soon enough the crenellated wall is near completed. With a final exertion of will, the last block of obsidian material slides into place, completing the work upon the castle rampart. Beelzebub wipes her brow with a handkerchief. Woman, you're doing more than wiping your brow. Whew! I'm not used to that much heavy lifting. And you tell me mortals built these without the aid of magic? Yup, and we're still doing it. Well, we had a lot of time on our hands when we weren't dying in the thousands to plagues, that is. Oh yeah. Before you ask, I'm not apologizing for those. Humanity had it coming. You're not quite sure if she's joking or not, and hide your uncertainty by walking over to examine your work. So you're telling me you're the one that created the Black Plague and the you-know-what right now? Remarkable. And this is how you've built this entire palace? Give or take, the tentacles took considerably more effort to tame than the rock itself, but I think I'll be making headway with them in another millennia or so. Did you just say you added tentacles to your palace? It must have taken an eternity. How long have you been here, Beel? Time flows differently here, slower than it does in your world, or hell for that matter. I've stopped counting over the years, but I expect it's been at least 6 centuries in your time. Sheesh! Her voice becomes softer as her gaze becomes distant. But in terms of time passing here, I think you're the first living being I've seen in at least 500,000 years. You turn your back to the black stone rampart, leaning against it as you ask a question that's been nagging at you since you first stepped foot in the abyss. Beel, you have to tell me, what on earth did you do to get yourself... Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. A crack of stone, made all the louder by the absence of ambient sound permeating the abyss, echoes across the rampart. Ah, shit. Almost immediately, you find yourself pitching backwards, a large stone against which you've braced yourself crumbling away into the black nothingness beneath. God damn it! Did I overeat again? Although you windmill your arms, you are unable to right yourself in time and topple off the edge of the castle. Reaching up, you were just barely able to grab the edge of the battlement, your fingers scrambling for purchase against the stone once packed solidly together. Tiger! Hold on! I'm coming for you! Beelzebub leaps for your hand, but before she can cross the distance between you, your grip gives out and you plummet head over heels into the inky blackness of the void. God damn it, Taker! Thanksgiving is tomorrow, at least for me. How much did you eat? Air rushes past you, or perhaps you rush past it as you fall, and you narrowly miss caving your head in on a rocky outcropping jutting from the castle wall. Flailing around, you try to catch on to something, anything, to slow your dive, but grabbing at the walls of Beelzebub's castle only knits you a hand, scraped raw. Ugh! I could actually feel it, by the rough-hewn slabs of the black fortress. For above you, a crimson light blazes, and an immense crack of displaced air echoes in the dimness. As you continue to fall, you can barely make out something huge and ungainly falling towards you at an alarming speed. Wait, did Beelzebub go into fly mode? Yep, that sounds like she transformed into fly mode. A blast of fetid air and a deafening drone heralds your rescue. You feel massive, chitin-plated fingers close around your midsection, gradually halting your descent. Knowing full well what you'll see, you look up at your rescuer. A massive fly, bloated and warped by demonic influence, carries you aloft, churning the air with time-tattered wings. Meeting your gaze with one of its multifaceted eyes, the creature splits its dripping mandibles into a rough approximation of a smile. It speaks, its voice comprised of 1,000 buzzing insects. How did her fly voice go again in the original game? Caught you! As the two of you circle around the ramparts, you notice Beelzebub is breathing heavily, her wings barely able to keep the two of you suspended. As her wings beat slower and slower, the angle of descent towards the parapet shifts from concerning to alarming. Ah, crap. Hold on to something. This land will be rough. Tough, I mean. You wind your hand into the mane of snowy hair surrounding Beelzebub's necks and hold on for dear life as she awkwardly crashes back down onto the parapet. Oh, Jesus! The great mass of her fly form plows up a furrow in the stone, but you are, for the most part, unharmed. As you slide off the groaning Beelzebub, the great fly glows scarlet. The aged flesh twists and buckles, compacting in on itself until it resolves back into the form of the white-haired demon. Beelzebub coughs once, and then opens her eyes. Let's not do that again, huh? I prefer to keep my demonic visage intact, thank you very much. I am with you there. As you help her to her feet, you can't help but satiate your curiosity. Visage? Do you mean the fly form? Beelzebub nods shakily as she gets to her feet. The visage phenomenon occurs when the raw power of a demon exceeds the capacity of their original body. This causes a chain reaction within the body of the demon in question, causing them to violently shift into forms better suited to their newfound strength. While we can with time learn to return to our original forms, our horns remain white, forever a mark of our status and power. Beelzebub brushes her hair back, highlighting her own ivory horns. While we are at our strongest when we take these forms, we are also at our most vulnerable. The visage is our power incarnate, and should it take damage, we would permanently lose a portion of that power. Give me an example, please. Very well. Losing a finger, or even an arm of my current form would only be an inconvenience, and one quickly remedied at that. But if the same injury were to be inflicted upon my visage, my powers would be appropriately crippled until I was able to return the missing piece. What if your visage was destroyed? What would happen then? I suppose I'd be reduced to an almost human status. Still immortal, of course, but fully unable to work all but the most basic of magic. Beelzebub gives you a quizzical look. You're awfully full of questions for someone who almost died a moment ago. I haven't had too many close shaves to be troubled. I knew I was in good hands. Oh, you flatter me. Yes, but unfortunately, you can't distract me. Distract you? Why, whatever do you mean? That wall crumbling was too much of a coincidence, and I think we both know that it broke to serve a purpose, Beel. You broke it trying to dodge my original question. Beelzebub turns to you, all trace of fatigue gone. Oh, was I now? And what question might that be? Beelzebub, why were you exiled here, really? Ooh-hoo, now we're asking the big one. Beelzebub visibly deflates and lets out a sigh before answering. I'll cut you a deal, Taker. If you want that particular piece of knowledge from me, you have to give something of equal value in exchange. Knowledge is power, and I'm not about to let you walk away with this much of it without paying some kind of toll. What would you like to know? I want to know if there's a way to escape, Taker. If somewhere, somehow, a way for me to escape this dimension exists. I don't know. I know you don't, but I know that you live with someone who does. The person who ordered me put in this pit to begin with. Sorry, I went a bit dyslexic there. You want an answer to your question? First you'll find me an answer to mine. Do we have a deal? So you want me to, face Lucy about this? Yes, I'll do my best to find you your peace of mind. And I'll grant you yours in exchange. Well, time's ticking, Taker. You ought to be returned to your own dimension before anyone notices you're gone. Jesus, that's still bright. Making a complex gesture, Beelzebub conjures the one-way portal around you, and your vision is once more obscured by purple smog. When the smoke recedes, you find yourself in total darkness. Worse still, you seem to be enclosed inside a very small space with barely enough room to move your arms. You're beginning to worry when... Oh, we're back. The door to your closet gives way, spilling you and your sock collection across the floor of your room. Rubbing your head, you look around at the room, eyes settling on a piece of parchment pinned to your door. What? Picking it up, you immediately recognize Lucifer's Uranite, precise handwriting. Oh, no. Take it. I found myself rather overwhelmed with work at late, and I've decided to spend some time working through my backlog. It's unlikely I'll have time to engage in any sort of prenuptial activity over the next couple of days. That being said, the others seem to be enjoying themselves, so keep up the good work, Lucifer. You make your way downstairs, Lucifer's choice of words weighing slightly on your mind. Keep up the good work? I wonder if she means... I guess that's it. Beelzebub's second date. Now I get to say that all the second dates are officially done. Man, how the hell did I forget Beelzebub's second date? But whatever. So now I can actually wait for the third date. So if you guys enjoyed me catching up on Beelzebub's second date, I'm sorry that it took me this long to realize that. Anyways, hit that like button if you did. And consider subscribing if you want to see more content from me. And with that said, I'll see you around soon.